it's going to get too real in a minute.
It's already streaming. Yeah. But no, I've been wanting to get one of those starter noises where it's like, boo, ching, brought to you today by. And I was going to make up all sorts of sponsors and all that. Anyways, people, we have Rosa Maldonado here. How's it going?
Well, it's going well.
Well, I like swell better. Swell. I don't hear anybody say that anymore. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about just all sorts of random shit, but
yes.
You want to take it away? What do you want to start with?
Let's jump into it. Yesterday, I'm stuttering so much. Yesterday was the Women's March.
That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
And amazingly, it hasn't lost a lot of momentum. Have you noticed that?
I still see posts about it all the time from friends, all the way up to making big Snapchat stories that come out and they start sharing their experiences and all that.
Yeah. I think let's get into that. Let's talk about shit.
Okay. What do you think's been going on recently then about women's rights, and have you actually noticed a decrease or an increase in momentum?
Let's start here. The what is it? Time's Up, the whole. Did you watch I guess it was the Golden Globes or Emmys?
I didn't watch them. No, I don't watch that stuff, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Well, what happened?
Well, let's start with this. So, you know the whole Harvey Weinstein thing that was going on?
Bring the mic a little closer.
Okay.
You can just bring it to you. It rotates. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
let's start about this. I think... Oh, this is weird. Okay, so the whole situation with the Harvey Weinstein being sexually harassed by someone that's above you, obviously that's
it's a power move.
It's a power move.
Mm-hmm.
And now people are making into, well, how did Liam Neeson, have you seen his interview? You don't watch his interview.
Man, I didn't realize Liam Neeson was accused.
Liam Neeson said, no, he hasn't been accused, but he was asked about the whole movement, and he was asked, like, what do you think about it? And he's like, well, now it's turning into a witch hunt.
I can see that point of view.
I can too, but...
You don't want to stop it, because I think it's powerful because a lot of people are finally seeing like, wow, all these people, it's like, it was about time for me to make a stand. I finally have the confidence because I have support of all these people around me. Who was it? It was James Franco. I mean, he was accused, and there's all sorts of stuff coming out. He says, I'm denying the accusations, but I do not want to stop this momentum. I don't want to stop. I fully support everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So I liked his point of view on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
But I kind of see like a lot of the witch hunt, but
yeah, like the whole Aziz Ansari thing.
Aziz Ansari? He got accused?
He got accused.
Oh my God.
So the article basically stated, it was like on a small internet startup type of article, which doesn't mean that it's not correct or anything, but I believe the whole controversy behind that was the publicator didn't give Aziz the right amount of time to respond to everything. Mm-hmm. Usually it's 24 hours. And their publicist gets back to them, or within those 24 hours to 48 hours, they get to
have a response.
Yes.
Or like, hey, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that why they always say that? It's like, what do you have to say about?
Yeah.
Blah, blah? Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Your statement about it.
Yeah.
Either you can deny it, confirm it, or just try to go around it.
Yeah.
But they only gave them 6 hours.
6 hours.
6 hours until they publicated.
Pretty quick. I mean, there's a lot of times where we have stuff at work where like, hey man, we have this gap that we need to fill up with weld. It'll take us 3 days before we decide, go ahead. And that's just a weld. I mean,
and this is someone's career.
Life.
This is someone's, like, reputation. You can't tear that down on... Yeah. I don't want to say, like, it was a baseless thing. Because the whole story behind it was she went on a date with him. She met him at, like, the Emmys or something at a award show.
Nice.
And he got her number. They texted for a while. They went on a date. And they went on a date. They quickly finished dinner, came back to his apartment. He started to undress her, but it was kind of like she wasn't comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. And then she was telling him, like, oh, let's slow things down. And he's like, yeah, sure. It's not fun unless we're both having fun, which obviously, yeah, you don't want to be like
a creeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some people don't. I don't, but
generally
most people
don't want to be a creeper.
Normally people don't.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So he decided, like, okay, let's slow it down or whatever. And they just hung out for a little bit, and then they started making out, and then it turned into, like, again, he started pulling his moves on. Yeah. So again, she tells him, like not again, kind of like just slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I feel like, this is my opinion and just me in general. Like, if I don't feel comfortable,
just leave.
I'll just leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to put myself through that.
After the second time, I think it would have been, because I see the first time, I was like, hey, let's slow things down. Oh, yeah. Like he said, it's not fun unless we're both having fun.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they start hanging out, makes moves. You're like, no. It's like, okay, well, you see what his intentions are.
And then he says, like, let's both put on our clothes back on. So they both put on their clothes. And then I think it was before he said put on their clothes. Like, he pointed at his dick, kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to?
Yeah, I don't really care. No.
So he pointed at it, and he's just like, huh? And I'm just like,
that's a pretty funny move.
If someone does that to me and I don't want to, I'll be like, nah.
We're done. All right, bye.
Like, bye. But no, she decided to do it. She said she felt pressured, but I don't know.
Him being a celebrity or something?
Yeah, but at the same time, like,
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of think if she, I don't know. I haven't been in those situations, so I can't really say, like, oh, I'll just get up and leave. Because it's a completely different viewpoint from a woman compared to a guy.
Yeah, but she, again, got up, went away from him.
Yeah.
So she obviously could have left at any point in time.
Yeah, and then she stayed.
And then, like, nothing, I don't want to say, like, sexual, because, yeah, she sucked his dick. And then they had, like, a few little stuff, but, there was no sexual intercourse.
Yeah, full on.
Yeah.
Home run.
Yeah.
It's third base.
Yeah.
Wow. But home run.
So, and then she left afterwards, and she started crying in the Uber home, and it was just sad. She was sad about it, and she felt like she was assaulted by it or harassed, which maybe, I can give her harassment a little, but at the same time, she said in her article that she gave off nonverbal cues.
Should have just said no. Give off the verbal cues.
Well, see, if she said no, then yeah, and he started pushing himself on her, yes, of course, that is harassment. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be able to read your mind. You're not going to be able to read my mind.
Interpretation's open to anybody who wants to try it.
And I'm very socially awkward, so I feel like my social cues are different than your social cues.
Yeah, I know some people where they just bottle up and don't say anything, and so I'm like, I instantly think, oh, that person's mad.
Yeah.
But then he and or she could be like, no, I just didn't want to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Me, I would think that's mad because, like, why aren't you talking? So
I think that if I were put in that position, yeah, he's a celebrity, but I wouldn't be like, oh, just because I can get on a celebrity, I would stay.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I wonder if the power move from obviously those people who like reach down and just start assaulting women, just start grabbing them when they shouldn't be, so on and so forth. But at which point is it? Oh, it's a power move. Or it's like, oh, they were. I see them as superiors or whatever. Or is it more like, oh, maybe this will be fun. Maybe this will be fun. I wonder. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just wondering if maybe that's where it is, and then they realize, oh, that sucked. I wish I hadn't done that, and that's what causes the people being upset. Not all of them, but the ones for the way that you described the Aziz situation. I could see it. That's how I could see that being a possibility. Like, oh, that sucked. I wish that was a lot more fun. I wish I had wanted that more or had more fun. And oh, I regret what I did now and all that. So
see, that's the thing with consent. I feel like you can give it and remove it at the same time that it's happening, but the next day,
no.
Just because you think about it and you're like, well, that wasn't that fun, or I shouldn't have done that.
That was a big thing with the college campuses, with some of the girls that said that, or some of the women that had like, oh, that was it. They made an app for that, the consent app, where you put your thumbprint down.
Yes.
And in the rule, like in the fine print, it said the women can remove their consent at any given like after the action had happened.
That's not okay.
I thought it's total bullshit. You put your thumb on that. Now, like you said, let's say I've been going at it for a while. I'm done. There you go. That's totally fine.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
So this is really personal, and
Sure you want to share it?
I'll share because it
Okay.
doesn't hurt me.
Okay.
I have no shame.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Now, people who don't know Rosa, she's extremely confident. She'll put you in your place at any given moment. And she's very kind.
I'm really...
First time you and I actually hung out was a car ride down to Panama
Yeah.
City. I got sick, and she took care of me the whole ride down with all this medicine that she just so happened to have.
Isn't
She's
that
good at
gross?
that. Yep. Anyways, continue.
So when I was dating a guy... Oh, sorry.
No,
I
it's
was
me.
dating a guy, and at one point it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna do stuff or whatever.
Okay.
And during that situation, it turned a little violent for me, and I didn't feel comfortable or safe anymore. And I was
Okay.
like, no, get off of me. Don't touch me. Don't do anything. And like it continued, and it didn't stop. And at that point, the only thing that I felt I could do was punch him, which I did.
Not
Punched
surprised
him.
that that's what you thought.
He got off.
Yeah.
It
Damn.
helped, but I mean, that's I took my consent back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had a voice, and I said, no, I don't want this anymore. Don't touch me. Get off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And did not listen. Okay, I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to decide, oh, I'm not done doing what I'm doing.
That's a very good point.
Like, no, you are done because I said no.
Yeah. Man. That's,
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll punch
surprised.
someone.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you'll punch. You love punching Chris, but he lets it. So
Okay.
That's a different story.
Chris lets me. We have a friend. His name is Chris.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris. He's really nice, and he's a black belt, apparently.
And jiu-jitsu, I think, right?
Is he? I don't know.
Or taekwondo. I think it's one of those.
He's basically like a ninja.
Yeah.
Like a Mexican ninja. That's
Yeah.
what he is.
Mexican ninja.
And he lets me punch him because he has like a hard flat surface, and then when he gets drunk he lets me, and I'm just like, I'll take the opportunity. It's cool.
Let some stress out.
Yeah.
No, I can't believe that happened. Well, at least, but not all people had the same reaction or the same
Yeah.
impulse, which is I need to fight back because some people feel completely overpowered by just any male just because statistically strength ratios are completely outweighed.
Definitely.
Even like a skinny guy like me, if I was with another woman that looked stronger than me and everything, they'd still have like some sort of, I don't know,
Yeah.
instinct that this guy could take me down or
Yeah.
something.
I feel that. Let me give you another example. So I knew people. Let's just say I knew people.
Mm-hmm.
This person took a guy to her room, decided to take her clothes off,
Yeah.
and got into bed, invited him into bed. They started doing things, and the next morning she regretted it. And she was just like, she called people, and she was just like, this was rape, and this was horrible,
Oh shit.
and we had a big discussion about it because she thought, because she slept with him, that he would ask her to be his girlfriend
Yeah,
and all of
shit.
this. She thought something else, and in her mind, I can't really speak for her, but from my point of view of the situation,
Yeah.
you can't take consent away after you willingly gave consent, and then something didn't turn out the way you wanted it.
Yeah. Not after.
Yeah,
Like
afterwards.
you're saying, during, no problem.
During, no problem. Like,
Afterward, though.
yeah.
I mean,
Afterwards.
afterward, the deed's done. You can't do
Yeah.
anything about it at that point.
And with the whole witch hunt thing, I feel like that does happen just because publicity, and there's such a slim chance for that, like a 3 to 4% that
You
people
really,
actually
you really
do
want
that.
to take. I mean, you should at least listen.
Yeah,
If someone's voicing it, I don't see a problem with anybody listening, sitting down,
yeah,
and taking it very serious. But there's always two sides to the story, so
Yeah,
it's
there's
worth
always-
it's worth asking. I can't believe, man, been through a lot. Jeez, why would that kind of bothered me that happened. I can't believe that happened.
yeah. So it's really, the
Mhm.
whole consent issue is really difficult to navigate through.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for men especially, because you can think they're having a great time,
Yeah,
and they look like they're having a great time.
could be lying.
Yeah. And then the next day they tell their girlfriends or tell someone else that it was horrible, not what they wanted. And then it turns into, well, you're a bad person because you didn't read their mind and you didn't know, like,
I hate that crap. You deal with that just with regular communication. Now you're talking
Yeah.
about something that could seriously end a kid's kids, because it happens to young adults all the time.
Yeah.
You get into a person's whole life. They could get thrown in jail for rape when in reality wasn't even the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a very touchy subject in general, just because, like you said, it's open for interpretation 100%. But if someone says no, it's no. And if someone says no during, it's still no.
Definitely. Like, if I say yes right now and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like, that just means, no, I'm not a tease. No, I'm not being, like,
it's like you're just not,
approved.
You're just not enjoying it. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Just no. If someone says no, it means no. It doesn't mean try harder. It doesn't mean maybe later. It's just no. Just don't. Don't do it unless you want to get, like, shanked or, like, because I'll go Lorena Bobbitt on someone.
Dang. Who's Lorena Bobbitt?
You've never heard of Lorena Bobbitt?
No, I don't know who that is.
It was back in the 90s. Oh, I'm so much older.
I'm a 90s. I'm born in 1990.
I was born in 89.
Oh, 1 year. 1 year. Okay.
Still. So Lorena Bobbitt found her husband cheating on him, I believe, and she cut off his penis.
Oh, she was the one that cut and threw it out the car window?
Into the field.
I've heard about that one.
And then he became a porn star.
Without one?
No, they reattached it. They found it.
Wow. Good job. Good surgeon job for that time.
Seriously.
Dang.
But
no, that's not.
But with the whole Weinstein part and even the Dr. Nazar with the U.S.
Olympics? Yeah.
Like, that was crossing the line into many, many places. Like, they were kids.
Yeah. What were they? I mean, some of them were like 14 years old, it seemed like. Yeah. The Olympics guy. I don't know about Weinstein.
Yeah, 10. I think it was like 10 or 8 or something like that. Like
10 or 8 years old or 10 or 8 women?
No, 10 or 8 years old. There was 100 already.
Is this when they were like training? So
yeah.
They were, like,
he was the U.S. coach for the
like he would study their physical and everything for
just make sure they're healthy and like their muscles and all of that and like realigning their stuff. And he would like do ridiculous things that if someone were to tell me like, oh, you need your hips realigned, and the way I'm doing that is sticking my hand into places that it shouldn't be. Obviously, if a child says like, hey, mom, dad, this is what he's doing, I feel like a parent should have been like, hey.
Well, did they tell their parents?
Yeah, there were some that told the parents, and the parents were talking to the doctor, and the doctor like made them believe that no, she's overreacting, or she's crazy, or she doesn't know how this is going on.
And you know what? That's honest. I wouldn't like that. It was like, well, figure out how to line her hips a different way.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, that's just people who they're ignorant. They don't understand how a doctor works. So they're gonna, honestly, if a doctor told me, like, oh, damn, your elbow's bad, you need to start taking these vitamins, so on and so forth, I instantly believe it. I'm like, okay, they've gone to medical school, they know more. This is a different situation, but I could see how a person could fall into those.
Yeah, I can. I mean, but
no one's gonna touch my daughter that way.
I feel like he was just such a monster. How can someone, especially to kids?
That's why weren't the parents in the room at the time?
Just because it was more like a lot of the kids do travel with the team and they go out. Yeah. So
parents don't go every time. So
yeah, but
that's
a lot of members of the committee, the Olympic Committee, stood behind him and were just like, no, he's doing the right thing. And it's ridiculous that they had so many people stand behind this doctor, which a lot of children, because they were under 18, their children, complained about it.
Yeah.
And over like several years, I was looking it up yesterday, and it was just so many children, so many parents and everything that he fooled, and it's horrifying. And that is definitely something. I'm glad he's getting like 60 years.
Yeah, no, he's got to go to jail for life. Well, 60 years. I mean he's not going to live. I wonder why they put a number on that sometimes. Like, you're going to go to 70 years in prison. How old are you? 50. It's like, just say he's going to go to prison until he's dead.
Yeah. Well,
but
sadly, when I was younger, I used to think that when they said, like, oh, you're going to have like 3 lifetimes in jail, I thought, oh, they're going to die and they're just going to keep their body there?
Oh, that sucks. 3 times.
I was like, wow, do they have like a morgue down there or something?
Well, I can see that. There was one thing I used to think when this was middle school, kissed a girl, you get pregnant. So I was like, then eventually, like, this was like 6th grade, and then once we learned what sex ed, I was like, oh, like, man, I saw all these kids kissing girls. Like, they're gonna get pregnant. They're gonna get pregnant. These stupid, ignorant kids. They know nothing. And then yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's so nice though to think.
You can't
like,
kiss anybody. You can't do anything.
Like a child to think that, like, the fear of that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense. I was an idiot then, and I recognized how young and stupid I was. I didn't want to deal with something like that. I didn't want a dog at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, I used to live in Miami.
Yeah.
And it's like a different place than here.
I know the streets are insane. That's all I know. As in cars driving wise, like they'll just shoot across the whole traffic, but that's all I know.
Well, okay, so I basically grew up way too quickly mindset. By the age of like 5 or 6, like I had a lot of cousins and everything, and they would tell me like, well, this is what it is. How did you not know that? I was like, what?
That would happen at such a young age?
Yeah.
Oh.
And like, I mean, down there was a little girl that was like 10 that was already pregnant.
Oh my God. How is that possible? Ugh.
It's just weird. And so when you say that, I'm like, oh, I already knew everything.
I didn't know any of that.
Like, I understood what it was, but I would never be like,
yeah,
let's go do
the
that.
young, you don't even have an interest at that.
I was like, I want my tea set.
Yeah.
I was so into like the porcelain tea sets.
I wouldn't mind a nice tea set. I like nice tea kettles and all that stuff. There was one place in Vienna. You go there every morning, you make your own tea. They had all these different herbs and everything. You would grab a pinch of everything, put it into a packet, and they'd give you a personal tea kettle and a little teacup. And you just pour it out. Oh,
Yeah,
it felt
like
so. It was awesome. I wanted to find out where'd you get all these herbs. I want them all, and I want this all in my house. I want to take one of those teapots, by the way. But it was cool. It was cool. Work paid for it, so it's nice.
God, that would be amazing to have a work like that. But I feel like I can't do that because I would just stay somewhere. I would be like, oh, I'm in Australia? Yeah, sure. I missed my plane. Oh, no.
Oh, no. You're going to have to pay for me. The next return trip's in 1 month from now, guys. Sorry. So
I would just be like, oh, I'm just going to adopt a kangaroo. I can't.
I'd love to go out to. They have some trips out there to Australia, but I haven't been taken yet. But I wanted to do their outback trips where they go into the outback in these like SUVs and you camp out there.
Yeah.
And there's the least amount of light pollution in general, everything.
Yeah.
And it's like the best place that you can see stars and constellations. It sounds really nerdy and sciencey, but I bet it's freaking amazing.
I mean, you really don't get that here too much.
Even at Dalton, even with Dalton lights, it's still light pollution. Like you can see a substantial difference when we went to those mountains in Switzerland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole nother world, it seems like. And you see so much more. You see all these constellations, all these stars that you couldn't see. Where we would see one star, you'd see 8 over there at the same location. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was cool.
I would think that would be cool, but I would be scared of, like, I would be the one being eaten by a dingo or something.
No.
That would be me. I would be like, oh my God, it's so fluffy. Let me touch it.
And there we go. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure they go prepared, but I could see people being nervous. Like if I saw an animal out there, fuck that. No, I'm not touching it. I don't want to see it.
If I see a kangaroo or a koala or a platypus, you better be sure I'm gonna touch that animal.
Aren't platypuses like poisonous?
Yes, underneath their little shoulders, like their armpit parts.
They spray venom?
No, they just have venom underneath.
So if like you touch it, does it burn you, or is it like you have to ingest it somehow?
I haven't gone through it yet.
I'm gonna have to find that.
When I do.
If anyone knows, you can comment below. I don't think anyone's even watching, but
my famous last words. Oh look, it's so cute.
And then it dies.
Then I die.
Yeah. Oh, you die.
It's gonna be the supreme leader of everything.
All right. Well then, okay. So after. Yeah.
So the whole this was a long tangent to somewhere that we didn't even go. Yeah, I know. But okay, so the Women's March yesterday. Let's go into. I think it was Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
The Women's March was Saturday because today's Sunday, and then there was an anti-abortion
Oh yeah, the rally.
march on Friday.
Roe v. Wade's thing, I
Yes.
think it's tomorrow or something. I've been
Yes.
seeing it all over Snapchat.
So let's get into this.
If you want.
Because I feel as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
my body is my body.
You're right.
No one gets to tell me, I mean, unless it's a doctor and obviously, like,
Yeah.
whatever. But for my own health, yeah, I understand I can't do certain things, limitations or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel that a man should not tell me what I can do and what I can't do with my own body.
Yeah.
I feel that no uterus, no opinion. I'm sorry.
I can see that. The other thing is, I see how a lot of people say, oh, it's 50-50, so on and so forth. And I think it's more like 80-20. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice to hear your opinion. That may affect the outcome.
Yeah.
But in the end, no, I agree. I think the woman has the right to do whatever they want. You know, I don't see any problem with that at all. It's, I mean, I know sometimes I could see why someone would want to get an abortion. I can see sometimes why people wouldn't. You know, maybe you're extremely young. Maybe you just don't want to have a child. Maybe you're not in a place where you could actually raise a child properly.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I mean, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people do have a problem with it because it is it's a religious topic. It really is. That's life, and you're getting rid of life. And some people have the argument, well, life doesn't start until the heartbeat, or life doesn't start until...
That's where I just say separation of church and state.
Yeah.
People advocate, they want to, we need to go back to the good old days. Like, this country was founded, separation of church and state. And then you have people who run for president saying, going to make us the way God intended. That it shouldn't be allowed to run at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I mean, those are just opinions. But
yeah, because I don't feel, and I'm just speaking for me, because I have never woken up and been like, today would be a great day for an abortion. Like, no one wants to.
No one really wants to go through those things.
It's not a thing unless you're Lena Dunham, who has stated, like, I wish I would have had the chance. Like, no, that's not something that you wish you had a chance. No. But she's in her own little category by herself.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, like, no one wants that. That's not.
They don't go there and be like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those, it's a last resort thing.
Yeah, and I feel that women should have a right to their own body, and contraceptives are a really great thing.
Yeah, take advantage of them.
Yeah, and if your insurance covers them, which I feel that insurance should cover them.
Should just be free. Should be able to just walk in, grab a condom, go.
Yeah, because honestly...
Saving money by doing it.
Honestly, everyone's opinion about a woman's body, that you shouldn't kill a baby in their view.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, okay, what happens to the baby afterwards? Maybe this person can't take care of it. It's going to go into an orphanage. I don't think we have orphanages anymore. Really.
I mean, there's foster homes. There's
fostering.
I don't know if there's actually orphanages like you're saying, but I know there's foster homes. My aunt and uncle do it.
Yeah,
they do. They've done it great. It's awesome.
But there's kids living in the street. Like, they care so much about those 9 months.
They don't give a crap once they're born.
Afterwards? Yeah.
Oh no, there's a lot of stuff it's things that I hate so much is whenever people say that, like, oh, why should I pay taxes for this person that doesn't want to get a job? And it's like, well, you don't know for sure that person hasn't been searching for a job. You know what? There are tons of people that are going to take advantage of a system. Yeah. I don't blame them. I would, if I found a way to make easy money, I'm going to make easy money. But
I think that comes to what a person feels.
That's just their opinions on or their character. Maybe that's part of their upbringing, or maybe they just went through a traumatic incident where it caused them like, I just don't want to do anything anymore. But I think that they need to stop figuring out, like, we need to save money, lower taxes, so on and so forth. Yes, it's beneficial, but I would gladly pay more in taxes if I know it's going to provide anything to another person. Obviously, I'm not going to pay all my paycheck. I got to take care of myself. Yeah. But if everyone paid a portion, I mean, why wouldn't there be? I mean, Canada's able to pull it off. I don't know how they pull it off, but...
Because they're so much better than us right now.
Apparently.
Let's be honest.
I mean, everyone that I've heard go to Canada loves it. Just says everything's amazing. It's prettier.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. I'd love to go too. There's a lake up there. I can't remember its name. But it's just incredible. I see it on Instagram all the time. It's Lake Alberta. Is that up there?
That's probably up there. That sounds
Maybe.
Canadian.
Yeah, I know there's an Alberta up there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Alberta can maybe about to say Canada.
Canada.
But
Monana.
Monana. No, but it's I think we need to figure out a way to make the United States more of a community where people want to help each other. I don't blame you. Like sometimes, like I can't stand running into people who are begging for money because it just infuriates me. Like, why are you begging for money? But then again, that's me making a quick judgment. I don't know what they've been through because sometimes you just have no idea what these people are going through.
Yeah.
But I think if we can figure out a way where everyone wants to support each other, wants to help each other, is like, guys, we're going to have to raise taxes by 7%. I mean, what we pay in taxes in the United States is nothing. Compared to Vienna, they're paying like 45, 56 or something like that. I was talking to one of our coworkers or companies that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, it's like 60%, but it's the safest place you can live. Like, we were walking in downtown. It was these sketchy areas. I was like, oh, my gosh, I was uncomfortable. And then I talked to the cab driver that was driving me from Switzerland back to where we work. And he goes, oh, no, it's extremely safe. And they're like, well, what kind of crimes happen? And he says, mostly people just get in fights, but afterwards they just get beers and talk about it afterwards. Because, like, one of those things, all right, we settled it. Let's talk about it. Let's just get over it. And I was like, well, when's the last robbery? 6 years, he said. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And this is in a place that is as populated as Atlanta, Georgia. 6 years since someone had an armed robbery.
That's what we need.
That's incredible. I was astounded. I was like, when was the last murder? He goes, 10 years at least. It's like, I don't even remember the last time I read that in a newspaper. This guy was 50 years old. The hell? How they pulled that off, I don't know.
I mean, Australia is they have crazy animals and stuff, but as far as, like, guns and crimes, they don't really have as many compared to us.
I don't know. I know that there's a comedian that laughs about it. Talks about how they took away guns from the civilians because there was, like, a massacre in the 90s.
Did you ever hear about that massacre?
No, I mean, I heard about it. I don't know what happened, like, what the massacre even was.
This guy, I think he was well off. He just had mental issues, and he gunned down, I think it was like a breakfast spot close to like a lake, a famous lake or
just
ocean
a random
or something.
place.
Yeah, he just went over there, shot everyone, went to like, I think it was the national park place where you sign in, shot people there, chase after them in the parking lot, shot them there. It was a ridiculous amount of people, and then after that, they did away with guns, and they don't have gun issues.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
see, I don't necessarily agree with taking away with guns.
I don't agree with that.
It's the wrong mentality because if you take away a gun, criminals are going to figure out how to get a gun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, drugs are illegal.
Yeah.
Do you see drugs everywhere? Oh yeah, they're everywhere. We still have a drug problem.
I do think that they need to be stricter gun laws and maybe take like a test.
Yeah, I think it was like my dad or my brother or somebody told me, and I had never even thought about it. It's like, you have to take a test to get a driver's license. Mm-hmm. Why not have to take a test to get a gun? And I was like, that's an extremely valid point. And people say, oh, we shouldn't have fully autos, so on and so forth. My idea was we don't need them, but they're pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. And why not make it to where you have like class levels? It's like, oh, I need to get a pistol. It's like, well, here's our pistol class. If you want to drive an extremely big 18-wheeler, you have to get a special driver's license.
That's true, yeah.
So why not have like, oh, I'm getting a hunting rifle. It's like, well, you just take the hunting class and you're usually fine, because they talk about hunter safety, gun safety, how to not point a gun at people. It's pretty common sense, but it's still a good class. I mean, and then you have handguns, like, I need personal protection, and then you have to have a test where it's like, okay, the target's from here to a given distance, you have to be able to hit it a certain number of times with this accuracy. I think it's a good idea. And then as it goes along, you have to take another class. Like, I want to get a full auto. It's like, well, here's our full auto class, and it's going to cost a little extra, so on and so forth, but you get proper training from the individuals. Education's key,
I think that, and also a mental evaluation, because honestly,
I don't know how that would work though. I don't think you should be able to take it based off of, if my dad went crazy, I don't think you should.
Oh, no.
It's a completely different person. But how do you, isn't a psychoanalysis opinionated.
It is, but I feel like if you go through general questions like are you going to use this on yourself? Probably don't give it to this person.
I mean, how many of them are going to be honest at that point?
You would be surprised.
You
would honestly
so?
be surprised because I have heard from a lot of people that work like at the courthouse or like deputies and all of that. They're like, people don't get jobs here because they will put down. They'll be very honest and put down like if this person, if your father was robbing or got pulled over and you have to pull them over and arrest them, would you do it? No.
No, they're pretty straightforward about it.
Yeah. And then you do have like other, I don't know. I think if you've had, well, obviously any domestic violence reports against you, you should probably not have one.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair.
That's a thing, but
what if there was like I had a domestic violence thing, it was like I snapped up but 10 years later, like 10 years after they've gotten out of jail, shouldn't they have been at that point rehabilitated and that they can actually apply again? Like there being an application process was like, look, obviously, because if you get a DUI, your license to carry gets instantly removed. You're never allowed to carry concealed carry again, which I was like, makes sense. You made poor decisions while you're under alcohol. Who says what you could do when you're holding a gun at that point? Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's a little tricky. I agree with some points. Like, yeah, there should be a lot more research done. Yeah. And maybe because you say, oh, so I said it was opinionated, but maybe just starting the program in general would educate people more and we could figure out, oh, these are the right questions we need to be asking. This is what we need to be investigating.
Oh, definitely. Because the whole process would probably be a
nightmare.
A nightmare. And it's a learning. Mm-hmm. It's a learning thing with anything. Mm-hmm. So.
Because I thought it was really interesting because a lot of people talked about tax plan, added the new Trump tax plan, added this, so on and so forth. And then someone made the comments like, well, Obamacare cost this much money to the debt ceiling. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I told that to one of my friends, and my friend said, it's like, you know what, it did add, but it was a start. At least someone tried. It's like, okay. And he said, maybe instead of taking it away, maybe there was a reevaluation. How can we enhance this to where it's not costing so much? Or how do we make this plan better? Yeah. Rather than just removing it completely. Which I sat there like, reevaluating it may have been better. I didn't even think about that.
It would have been better, but let's be honest. If it had that name on it, it's not. Yeah. It's going to die.
Possibly. That's actually, no, you're absolutely right. It's some of it's just a point where it's too separated, where it's like, oh, Democrats voted for that? Let's take it out. Why not? I'd love to see someone who's like, hey, let's just get rid of the parties in general. Like, you can't be backed by any sort of party. Like, if you eliminated that and this person just had to run on what they believed, it's a little, you couldn't do that right now. It's a big shocker. But what if you broke up the party? Because there's a lot of Democratic views I agree with. There's a lot of Republican views I agree with. And Libertarian. Yeah, I mean, you can't actually say, like, I'm 100% Democrat. I'm not. I'm never going to be, because a lot of the shit that they believe, I mean, I don't like. But a lot of shit that conservatives believe, I don't like either. Yeah. Libertarians, I think a lot of them are hippies. I wish a lot of them is like, let's just chill, man. Let's chill. And that's not exactly how a libertarian sounds at all, because I know plenty of people who are extremely smart and really cool people that are libertarians.
Do you remember, who was it that ran as a libertarian this past election?
I have no idea. I didn't know one. Oh. What? No, was that Democrat? Was it? It was the...
Johnson? No.
I always remember the independent guy, Ralph Nader.
Oh.
Ralph Nader, because we always said that was one thing. Let me see if I can figure out. Who was... I'll put CM. Dang it. It still goes there. Who's it? Libertarian Party 2016? Or was it 2015? 15 election.
16?
16? 17, shit.
17?
No, it's 16.
No, it's 16.
It is 16.
Like, because I voted.
Gary Johnson. Wow, good memory. Johnson, yeah. Good job.
The only reason I remember him is because he did an interview. Mm-hmm. Midway in the interview, during his answer, he just starts sticking his tongue out and continues to talk.
Oh, is that guy who was like... Oh, I thought he did this, like... like stretching it.
Mm-mm.
You have a stroke?
No. Like, so weird. Like, I just stared at this interview and I was like,
Pass. I think he's
why?
awesome. Should have voted for him. I didn't know him. Damn it.
No. Oh my gosh, I should have told you.
No, that's pretty cool. No, maybe they should just like break up the parties though. Like maybe where it's like just rename them completely. Like you have two versions of Democrats, two versions of conservative, or like you have one that's like conservative Democrat.
I think with
or a Democratic conservative, one that favors the other but
Yeah.
still believes some of the views, and then you start bridging the gap and you start like, hey, maybe there's a lot of similarities and maybe we, I guess we all do want to make more money. What? No fucking shit.
I think it's ridiculous a politician's making more money than a teacher.
Oh, 100%.
That's no, like,
Or, I mean, the benefits that they get, they spend, was it a day in office or something? They get benefits for life.
yeah, like what?
Why are they making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year?
Yeah.
No. I think the person that should have the job is the person that doesn't want it. Honestly, I bet if Elon Musk became president or just...
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think just the funding department, I had this idea which was it would be like a testing area where every year everyone would vote on the things that's most important to them. Mm-hmm. Basically start with education or so it would just have a list of 20 or 10 topics. And based off that, you would get ratios of what people thought. It was like, 33% said education was most important. You were given a budget, and 33% of that went to education. 17% went to infrastructure. And then they would see it like, oh, wow, education's great. Man, these roads suck. And then they'd realize, oh, okay. And then so the next year, they'd be like, oh, apparently our education's doing pretty good, so we can limit the budget this time. And then we need more budget for infrastructure or more budget for medical services, so on and so forth. But as someone told me, depending on the age, you would get extremely different results. All the old people would vote for Medicare, which I don't blame them because they need it. At that point, I'm 20 and I don't need it. So I don't know. But I thought it was a good concept. And it'd be something that you could just do online where people could just, oh, okay. Or they could at least see what the people are actually wanting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think right now, just in the time that we're living, my goal is not goal, but my hopes are the people that are in office, like Department of Security, Department of, like, I guess, what was it? Like, there was like a ridiculous department that I thought, why did they have? I don't remember what it was. But all of those department heads should be educated in their department.
In their field, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that we're having people that are just rich, basically.
Yeah, a lot of times it is because the rich people get the voice out better.
Yeah.
And they're able to have more viewpoint, like more speaking and all that stuff. I can't speak right now. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but they get a more powerful voice.
Yeah, like Betsy DeVos, I think DeVos.
Man, you're naming off people I don't even know. I need to start reading more.
I've had too much time on my hand last year.
Oh.
So I've been watching a lot of news.
Yeah.
I switch it up. I don't just watch MSNBC or CNN. I can't stand CNN sometimes, but I do watch Fox and all of that other stuff. But as far as I think, and probably you should have Gabby on here.
Oh, she is a teacher.
The whole, like, Betsy DeVos doesn't really have anything in, like...
Who is it? What does she do?
She's, I believe it was, like, education. She's the main person.
Department of Education?
Yeah. And it's kind of like she has no background in any of it.
Shoot, I could go off on that. The person that did the election here in Dalton recently, it was Matt Evans.
Yeah.
Matt Evans is the leader of a community church.
Yeah.
And he has never been a teacher, hasn't even graduated college, and he was elected Board of Education.
No.
Yep. I sat there, I was like, Gabby, who's been a teacher for 3 years, is far more qualified for this individual, and he got all his votes, and I know he got all those votes because of his group or I can't think of the right word, but his connections at Rockbridge Community Church. I should not have said that shit. I said his name. Doesn't matter.
They're gonna just edit this later.
No, it's live stream.
Damn it.
No, but I mean, I was embarrassed to see that people thought that individual.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, his character might be great and everything, but you have to think about what the children need. You can't think, well, this person is, he's a great person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he might be a great person, but is that the only thing that you need? No, you need to have an education on this.
Are you going to have a teacher be a CFO? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going to have a finance major do that. Person who studied the stuff. Or, I don't know. That's why I wonder, what if you could go to school for leadership? Like graduate in leadership, in which case I was like, oh, okay. Oh, he's got a doctorate in leadership. So now, he's pretty prime candidate for being a president or being a governor. How do you go to school for those things? I don't know.
I'm like, I can say a lot of things about that, but I don't want to.
Well, I mean, it's hard to.
I think you have to know the law at least a little bit.
Give him a history test. That would be nice. I would love to give every president a history test, see which one actually does well.
You know what?
I wouldn't do well.
I just did my citizenship about, it was 2016.
I was surprised because I totally thought you were already a citizen.
No, I was a legal resident for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I did my citizenship. And I remember going through the questions because it's 100 questions that you have to basically kind of remember and know about them, but they only ask you 6. No, you have to get 6 right, but it's 10 in total.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 6 out of 100 right. I'm like, I could get that. CCC all the way down. You're done.
They only ask you 10, and you don't know which 10.
Do they ask you in person?
Yeah, it's an oral thing.
Nice.
It's really not.
No, is it intimidating?
It's intimidating because this person holds like
the power.
Yeah. So when I did it, they asked me 10, and I got all of them right.
Yeah.
Humble brag, not so humble. But I remember studying for it, and people that I worked with, they're like, I don't even know this. Like, I haven't learned this in this long. And I'm just like...
Yep. I worked with this Dominican guy. His name's Juan. He's a really cool guy. Really nice guy. Unique character, to say the least. He was studying for his citizenship, or his mom was, or something. And he was asking questions. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, he's like, William Taft, man. It's like, what? How'd you know that? It's like, my mom's studying, or something like that. But I was just, I've never been into history, in all honesty. I've always been math and science. I've never cared for anything else.
Hey, you had me at science, but you lost me at math.
I love math. I think it's incredible. The power of math, people don't even realize. It's so powerful. But I agree. You ask the standard American those questions, 6 out of 10, I don't know. If you ask the hard ones, I doubt they're going to make it. Because I know there's going to be easy ones.
No, okay, after I finished all of them and I studied, I was like, well, these are so easy. These are great. Whatever.
Well, you went to school here, though, right?
Yeah, I did. And I think that helps a lot.
Definitely. If you're a new person, English was not your first language, and you didn't go to school that spoke English, you're going to struggle.
No, definitely. My mom's planning on doing hers next year, and it's ridiculous. Like, she's having such a hard time.
It's hard for her? Is it the same stuff?
It's the same stuff. I mean, there's obviously, like, the new governors and all that stuff that are going to change.
I can't believe they asked what governor is currently in. No, not a chance for me.
I don't remember anymore.
Is it Nathan Deal? Or he was? Senate.
No, there's that always confused me, the Senate and then the other thing.
Governor?
No,
Governor and Senate?
There's the representatives.
Congressman.
The congressman, and they can easily change.
Can they interchange?
When it's the election years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when I took it, they just removed someone else and put someone else in. So I remember I was studying the last year's and not the current one.
That would have sucked.
And then the last minute, I was like, wait, this changed, didn't it? Because it has on there, like, check it up on the internet. And
make sure this is up to date.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I did not, but I got it right.
There you go.
U.S. citizens, bitches.
I think that's awesome, though. I don't know. I hear a lot of horror stories about becoming a citizen. I know one of my friends, he, I don't know if he's a citizen. Yeah, I know he's a legal resident now, but he came here, I think, for like 18 years. He was living illegally, which, honestly, just make him pay taxes. Who cares? Then they can't say, oh, they're taking our jobs. Like, they're paying taxes. Who cares? At that point, yay us.
I mean, I feel like no one's like, I'm gonna come over here and
take advantage,
cause destruction and all of this. No, most people
bullshit.
most people do come over here for a better life. That's why my dad brought us here when I was 1.
Yeah.
He brought us over because he wanted something better for us.
Yeah.
And he succeeded. I mean, we've never, because I know, okay, so sad story coming. So when my mom, she lived in a ranch, but it was like their house was literally made out of mud.
Shit.
Yeah. It was like they didn't have shoes. They cut up old tires and
put them on
strapped them on and stuff like that. There was times where they didn't have food. They had maybe like chilies and like tortillas, and that's all they ate. And
Jesus,
it was hard. My mom decided, well, my grandparents, they wanted a better life for my mom, and they sent her to take care, or like, what was it? They knew a teacher, and that teacher was like, oh, I'm going to take her into the city with me, and she'll just be like our maid, but I'll give her an education.
Okay.
And that's normal over there. So she went, she was their maid, and they didn't teach her anything. And that's a thing that does happen, and it's horrible. And then there was a situation there, and she had to get out. And she was probably around 11 or 12 when this was
She was
going
working
on.
as a maid at 11 or 12?
Yeah. And then she left that house when she was, I believe, 15. And then after
did she live in the house and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then she went to work for another family, and they taught her.
Oh, good.
And at like 16 or 17, she decided, I'm going to go back to my parents and live with them, help them out.
Yeah.
So she did that. So ever since, I guess, 11 or 10, yeah, she was out of the house. Like that's
a big move.
Yeah, and for her to go back and just try to help, because my grandfather died around that time.
Okay.
So she was helping my grandmother, and in Mexico, they're very weird. Our family was, at least. I'm not going to speak for anyone else's family, but our family was really weird. My grandmother, she would see that my mom was already with my dad, but my dad would leave because he was a truck driver. And she would see that my mom was struggling, because my dad would give my mom money, and my mom would share that with my grandmother.
Okay.
Because, family.
Yeah.
And she didn't have enough for like bread that month or that week, and my brothers and sisters would want bread, and my grandmother would not give them bread.
Yeah, because they didn't have any money.
No, they did.
Oh, they did?
They had bread. They just didn't want to. So that was hard on my mom. And after, my mom told my dad that, he's just like, you know what? We need to move. Like, I can make so much more money over there legally. And I want to preface it that my dad did have his legal citizenship right there, or residency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if he wasn't legal, still you would want better for your children, wouldn't you?
100%. I'd be an illegal to have better to provide better for families. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That was our situation. My mom and dad wanted a better life for us. They didn't want to have that struggle that they didn't want us to have that struggle that they did. So that's why we moved here, and I mean, my dad did a really great job, and then
you're living well and you're successful in comparison to many people too.
I mean, I'm blessed. My family was blessed with health, and so that's why I got my citizenship test too, because I was like, my dad gave me, that was like the one gift that my dad really gave me. That's like, it changed my life forever.
Yeah, no, I think that's incredible to see where they came from, and now living in an absolutely perfect house. Yeah. No, I mean, they can go get shoes if they need them. Yeah. Clothes. It's a whole different world out here.
Yeah, it's a different world, and people think like, oh, they're basically like us. Like, why don't they have jobs over there? And it's it's harder. It's a second world country, I guess, because it's not first world.
It's not America world. Yeah. Whatever, we're first world, they say, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we're District 1 out of the Hunger Games. And they're like District
I don't want to be
7.
like... I don't want to be rude about it, but like, it's not the greatest place. Let's be honest.
A lot of corruption, so on and so forth. Granted, there's corruption and all sorts of stuff here in America for sure.
But if your child is going hungry in Mexico and you can work a job and make 3 times what you're making in 1 week, like,
Yep.
I would do it, and I don't care if
Yeah.
I'm gonna get shot in the process. I am still gonna do it. I'm gonna give my child
People
a
would
better
sit there
life.
like, how could they come to this country illegally? Bitch, shut the fuck up. So it's like, it's embarrassing that people see that. Don't they see the benefits of it? It's like, well, we're a great country because of these things. It's like, no, it's because we have more to offer. 100%. It took a while to become this, but we're here, and maybe they should just hire people to, like, Department of Immigration to like restructure the whole process to where more people are entered legally at a quicker pace, because I know getting citizenship takes a long time.
Yeah, and getting residency isn't that easy either.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how does that work? Like, how do you become a resident?
So back in the day when my dad got it for us, it was the lottery situation.
Like, you just put your name in the hat and you got selected?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, crap.
And my dad had his when because he would travel between Mexico and U.S. Mm-hmm. So when he went back to the U.S., he put all of our names in there, and like, if
one of your names gets picked up, your whole family gets to go, or you go underneath their contents or something.
Basically. Nice. So I believe it was my mom and my sister, and all of us got it around the same time as each other.
Yeah.
And then from there, I believe my aunt got it through my dad too.
Yeah. It's always easier if someone else has it.
Yes, but that's changing now.
What's the difference?
It takes longer time. And
clearly,
if you're already here in the U.S. illegally, it's harder for you to get a pardon. Like, most of the time you have to go back and have a 10-year ban.
10 years?
Most people, I think it's like the first or second offense, you get off like, oh, just don't come back. And then afterwards, it's like a 10-year ban.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And you can't apply for it. And
once you get banned, you're done.
No, you can, after your 10-year ban is up, you can.
Jeez, but 10 years though? I mean, if you're 30, 10 years, 40 at that point, you've already...
And even then, that's just to apply.
And you're not you're not going to be guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, and some people wait like a good 20 years until they get their residency.
Oh my God.
Or even a visa or anything. So it's a hard process, and I understand you don't want an influx of people and then like there's not enough jobs, and I do get that, but I don't believe that people here illegally are monsters and trying to rape people and burn houses down.
There may be instances of stuff where it's like that, but the majority is definitely not the case.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think that whole immigration policy and everything needs to be looked at again.
It's reformatted.
Yeah.
Completely. I 100% agree.
Like I said, I would do anything to give my family a better life.
100%. Yeah, I mean, everyone prays for that moment where they win the lottery and they're like, oh man, I'm going to give my brother this much money. I'm going to make my dad this much money. I want to pay off the house. I'm going to knock it down and build a mansion.
Oh my
and, you know, everyone has those dreams. And the first thing they say besides, you know, it's like, I want to get that car that I love. It's like, well, you know, I'd give tons of money to my family and friends and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I have a confession. I won $4 in the lottery this past week.
Did you get another scratch off and do it again?
No, it was like actual like I picked numbers and stuff.
Did you get like the bonus? What is it?
The Powerball.
Powerball.
So I only got that number.
Hey,
right.
Shoot, that's awesome.
And I was like, oh my gosh, $4, because I've had a crappy week. And then I was like, I'm lucky.
Yeah. I mean, nothing better when you get the scratch off and then you see $1.
Oh my God, I'm horrible at those. I do not win.
My brother's the luckiest guy. Every time, it's like he knows. It's like, Daniel, go get the jumbo bucks. Trust me, $2. Thanks. Get it back. $15 again. Okay.
No, my mom wins that like almost every week, and I'm like, how do you do that?
I have a feeling Nick plays it like so much, and it just so happens to line up with the times that I'm with him, and he always like he must get it like every day.
Yeah.
Oh, I won $15 again. Spent $80. But I can't ever win the lottery. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people when the lottery goes up to a certain amount, it's like I'll get a ticket. Not because they always say like, oh, chances of winning go up, but no, chances are all the same.
Yeah.
Just statistically, someone's gonna be picked.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna play like here and there, but I'm not gonna put my whole life's worth into it.
No, because that's definitely stupid.
Stupid.
Maybe once a week, $1.
I mean, it would be nice.
Is it $1 or $2?
It's $2 now.
Once a week, so $104. every year.
Never mind.
Well, 104. When you brought it out over that scope, you're like $104. Oh my god!
Yeah.
But then you narrow it down to like an income ratio. It's
Yeah.
not even a percent.
Yeah.
So.
But speaking of family, like I did that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. I was like
back around.
Huh?
So I just had lunch with a coworker the other day. We were talking about she's in her, I want to say 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking me, we had drinks, obviously, during a work day.
Oh, I wish we could do that. We always talk about doing it, but then we're like, our boss is going to come in and we're all going to be fired.
It's hilarious because we go to lunch at Taco Mac. We went to Taco Mac in Chattanooga, and we see our coworkers there taking shots.
100%. That's awesome.
And I was just like, oh, we can do that? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's cool. So what about
we were talking about children because she was like, oh, you guys seem like my children. And I was just like, I mean, I'm down with that, whatever. Like, you seem really nice.
There you go. Cool.
But she was just like, I've never had kids and I don't feel like I'm a bad person for it. And I was just like, I would never say you're a bad person for not having kids because that's everyone's choice.
100%. Yeah.
And she was just like, what do you feel like? Do you want to have kids? She was already drinking a little bit too much at that point.
Yeah.
But still.
It's one of those honesty conversations.
Yeah. And I was like, I wouldn't mind having a kid if it happens. Like, I'm not going to go and, like,
try and get pregnant.
I want to have a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I was that probably a few years ago because I just felt, that's all I'm good for, basically. And that was my mindset because for me as a girl, I was always told, like, you're just going to
grow up, get married,
have babies, and it's going to be great.
Don't limit yourself to that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having them, but don't limit yourself with that mindset.
Yeah. And
people who don't want to have them because they want to travel the world, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I used to feel like when I met you and basically mothered you.
Yes, it's true. That's true.
That trip.
Well, I mean, you have motherly instincts. You always have them.
And I always felt like that's what I'm supposed to be, and that's what my main reason in life to be.
So now you don't take care of anybody.
No, I do. I'm still very motherly, but I don't have that urge to want kids. And like I said, that might change later on in life.
I say you could see a baby the next day and then
oh no,
it's back.
I love babies. If I see a baby, someone took a baby to work the other day and I was like, can I hold it?
Forever.
And then I remember I was like just sniffing the head and they're like,
that's what they say, babies like have a smell. I've never smelled it on Blake. My brother's got a baby. Her name's Blake. It's Sophia Blake, but she's adorable. But I've never smelled any sort of baby smell.
Oh, that baby smell. Like, you can tell, like, the baby smell from a toddler smell. Like, there's a pure difference.
Is there?
Yeah.
I'll find out.
Yeah, that baby smells just
Blake's almost a toddler now.
Maybe it's a woman thing.
Like a motherly thing?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure, like, the father would probably be like, I'm sure my brother would sit there and be like, oh, she smelled way better. She, like, shits all the time. No, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, kids, I can't. Thinking about it, like, financially, that is...
Diapers.
Ridiculous. Diapers, baby wipes, food.
I don't see how people do it.
No.
I don't see how they do it. I'm thoroughly impressed with all single parents, even young parents. I think it's absolutely incredible. Especially... like the ones that actually go to college in the end and graduate. I'm astounded. It's truly moving. It's inspirational to say the least.
Yeah. I love babies. I love kids. Some kids. Let me put that out there. I like some kids.
Yeah.
But most kids I do like, and I love babies. Babies are like, they can't talk, so they can't talk back to you and tell you like, bitch, you crazy or something like that. Like, I love babies, but I don't think I want them. And I think that part of me that wanted babies was just to fill a void that I used to have. Because going into the next one.
Oh, we're leading into I thought we were. I sat there and was like, okay, here it comes.
Where's this going? No. So growing up, I really didn't have anything to be sad about or be like, oh, my life is so hard. I mean, obviously, I probably did because I was a little spoiled kid and didn't know better. You know, when you're in high school, you're like, oh my gosh, my hair isn't like the rest of the girls.
Dramatic, everything. Yeah.
So, yeah, I never really had anything to be sad about, but for a great portion of my life, I've always been depressed.
Yeah.
And I think that the thought of having like family and like this is what I'm going to smother all of my love with, and this is what I'm going to focus all my time with, and this is
Is it because you didn't have those things that you think you made you depressed because you thought that those were what you needed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I needed to be with someone. I needed a promise that I would have a husband and children.
By a certain age or something?
Oh, yeah. I stressed about it when I was 23. And I've been engaged before. And I remember I took that broken engagement really hardly, hard, because that's what I felt that I needed. Like, I'm not going to be a person if I don't have a husband and children.
Yeah.
But now I don't feel that because I'm fine without.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different stage where people, I think it's key. You can be happy with someone if you're not happy with yourself, but you're not going to be as happy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's important for people to establish who they are. Now, if you can establish who you are with a significant other, it's incredible. Because you build your personality off them. Yeah. And you just seal your bond even tighter. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't see a problem with people feeling depressed at all. I mean, I had some depression over the past, I'd say probably like a year ago. I just went through this phase where I just had nothing going right, and I couldn't help but just mental blocked, like, why isn't anything just working? And then I started reading more, and then, I don't know, I started weight training and all that. Well, not obviously, I still look small, but.
No, you don't. You've, like.
People say that I've changed a lot.
You have.
Yeah, no, there was the one guy I was telling you about, the Dominican. He's I saw him over summer, and he's like, dude, if the changes you have made, not just like mentally, because he knew like I was a lot sharper mentally now than I was then, and he says, but like physically, like you're a completely different person. It's like, I love that transformation. Made me feel amazing. It was just a great confidence booster, and I'd say like up to like October, maybe. Up to October, I started getting a turnaround. I started having a new focus, a new drive, and new motivation on things. And I just recently have just been in a go-get-it attitude. Started the podcast, started a business. People don't know, within a week of the mining Bitcoin, I started a business with my friend, and we're mining Bitcoin now. It works. It's amazing. And I'm fixing up this house, and I'm not looking at, I'm not necessarily looking at where do I want to live next. It's like, what's the next house I can make money on? You know, I'm just in this drive and moment. But transferring back to you, sorry, I took it.
No, yeah, that's great though. Like, I'm glad that you feel better, and you know, because depression is a dark place.
100%. It's just, how can you stop saying that? I've said that like 3 times now.
It's fine.
For sure. That's exactly what it is.
Sure.
It's just an overall negativity surrounding you, where even when good things are happening to you, you do not care.
Oh, yeah. For the good part of my 20s, I definitely was in a deep depression. Obviously, there's things that happen in your life that would cause depression.
Yeah. Contributing factors for sure. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I lost my dad, and that's
a big one.
That was
a big blow. I remember I was so glad you went to Panama City that time.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you were very upset, but
oh, yeah.
I don't know what I'd do without my father. Yeah. It's going to be a tough time whenever he goes.
I mean,
hopefully he goes first. I don't want to die first.
You know, that's the weird thing. I am, ever since my father died, which I was close to my dad, but my sister was closer to him. Me and my dad didn't really get too close until we were close when I was younger. Yeah. And then afterwards,
when you got older, huh?
When I got older and he was starting to get sick, because he had cancer. Preface, if anyone wants to know, and whatever, he had pancreatic cancer. Yeah. For about 7 years, which is the longest really anyone. Well, people have survived longer, but the main time frame that happens is usually, depending on what stage they get it caught at, it's from like 6 months to 5 years.
Like, that's the max. Like that's the general average, scope of when like people are probably going to pass away by finding out. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was Patrick Swayze. He had it too.
I don't know.
And he died within, like, I think it was a year or two.
I know. I've heard that name so many times, but I have no idea who he is. Sorry. Let me just look up a picture.
Yeah, you should.
Wait, is Patrick Swayze the Dirty Dancing guy? The guy
Yeah.
that holds a girl?
Yeah. That's Patrick Swayze.
Yikes.
Yeah.
He's dead?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously now. But
Yeah. But, so for that time, me and my dad got closer because I was the one who took him to doctor appointments and surgeries and everything else like that. So me and him got close at the end, and then when we lost him, that was like a really big blow for me because we knew it was going to happen because obviously there's no cure for cancer, especially that one. It's aggressive form, but you're never really prepared for it.
Yeah.
You're never prepared for losing someone loved. It doesn't matter if it's a parent, but just losing someone in general to that. So that was really hard for me, and that was almost 5 years ago.
Oh my God, was that 5 years ago?
Almost 5 years ago, yeah. I know. So I was about 24.
That was 5 years ago. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because I met you when you were 25.
Was it 24 or 25?
You were 25 because you were 24 then, and you were 25 when we went to Panama City.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So
I can't believe that was that long ago.
Yeah. So my early 20s, I was depressed about a lot of things, but that tipped me over. So the past couple of years, I've been trying to get over it. And I don't want to say get over it. That's a horrible way to say it. Move on.
Yeah. Transition or move on.
Yeah. So what helped me was I started to see a therapist. And I had to see two of them because one of them, honestly, if you are suffering from depression, know that you're not alone. There's a ton of people that go through it. Yeah. And there's seasonal depression, and that's okay. Like,
is that really a thing? Like, where it's like you get the winter blues?
Yeah. That's a real thing.
Interesting.
I actually suffer from different types of depression. And
did one therapist focus on?
One therapist, okay, so that year that my dad died, it was just a shitty year. Like, I had,
obviously,
my brother was deported, a half brother died, another half brother was sick, and then the end of an engagement, which honestly, that engagement was the best thing of my life that's ever happened because that was just, I mean, it was just a really bad thing. But it was a bad relationship. But I'm happier now, and I think the therapy, that helped. The first therapist wasn't that great. He kind of just said, like, everything's going to be fine. Here's some pills.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of prescribing people for depression. But then again, I've heard great successes from it. Maybe more research should be done.
Yeah. Well, I went through probably 4
therapists or medications.
4
at a
different
time,
times.
or you were like, this doesn't work.
Yep.
Let me try this.
So I would have to be on it for, I think it was a month to test it out, and then by month 2, start a different one. By the end of month 2,
see which one did the best.
Because honestly, it's really hard switching from one drug to another drug to see which one helps you. But the first one I remember made me suicidal.
You had the suicide thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, before, when I was younger, I was a cutter.
Yeah. I just said, yeah, but I didn't realize that. I was just kind of like, wow, go on. Go on. Keep cutting. No. Yikes. No, I didn't realize that.
No, yeah. I remember I went to a private school, so it was really different. You're in this little bubble where everyone is just either they like you or they don't like you, or this week they do, next week they don't, but you're living with them. And you have constant, like, interaction with these people. And if one thing sets them off, it sets off a chain of reaction and depression.
Yeah.
Like, girls are mean.
Well, I heard about, like, the suicide thoughts. People said there's like, oh, suicide thoughts. Well, why would a medication like that give you suicide thoughts? And they said it's not that gives you suicide thoughts. It's just that the medicine typically gives you more like, I can do this. So when you have the suicide thought, you are more likely to follow through with it. Because it's supposed to give you that a boost. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna tack on the day. Hey, I'm gonna kill myself today. Yeah. That's what I hear it does. So
yeah, and then
so if you have it during those things, you're supposed to stop immediately. Go see the doctor.
So also, if you have like these addictive tendencies, you really shouldn't be on them because that just enhances everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that first medication made me so suicidal and cutty and just like I don't want anything.
Oh, so life. it brought it all back up.
Yeah, it was just the worst 2 months of my life.
Yeah.
And by the second month, I was also on anti-anxiety because I would have severe panic attacks where I would have to drive off of the road and like get out of my car and just like roll up into a ball on the side of the road.
Gosh, you're a mess. Sorry, but
I was.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And I remember talking to my therapist, and I was just like, honestly, this isn't working. So I went to another one. And that one got the notes from the other one and was just like, well, why did you do this? Or why was this? And did you not talk about what was going on? And I was like, I mean, honestly, all I got was just prescriptions. That was all I did. So this therapist actually talked to me. We went through a lot of things. And it
glad
helped.
You changed.
It did until the prescription hit.
And did he give you another prescription?
He did. That one just made me feel numb.
Just
like I didn't feel anything.
Doesn't really care. I
didn't care. I couldn't be happy. Like I knew I should be happy or I should be sad at this point, but I didn't feel anything.
Just didn't care.
Yeah, I was just a shell of myself. And my mom saw that and she's like, "No, you need to go back."
Yeah.
So finally, we ended up with another medication, and it just didn't work. I just felt like this wasn't going to help. Like medication was just not helping me. I need to find another form. So after that, I did the St. John's worts. It's like a natural root or wort, not wart. It's like a plant.
Wort. Oh.
Like a.
Yeah.
So we tried that for a while and it helped, but I think your body just gets used to it after a while too.
Oh, it adapts. It's used to the dosages and everything.
Yeah. So then meditation and just going outside and exercising and helping, which I've slacked very much on that within the past couple of years. But now I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because
you starting to feel like you're more in control?
Yeah, definitely. I think with age that helps too. Because back then, 5 years ago, I was a complete different person than what I am today.
No, you definitely have a much more chippier mood. Like whenever like we get everybody together, you seem to enjoy yourself a lot more. You're always more conversive and not just sitting and keeping to yourself anymore. You're always like, "Hey Daniel, get this," or like "Chris, I'm gonna punch you." You know, like, you wouldn't have done that back then.
Get another shot, guys. Come on.
That other two.
That's mostly what happens. But
I think that's what I did in the comment section. I was like, we could start with Trump and end with shots at a Christmas party. Conversation wise. Oh man.
Oh, Christmas party. Do we really want to go there?
No, I don't. No, but I'm glad you're coming through it.
No, yeah.
I think it's awesome.
And also, like...
It's a slow process.
Yeah, my first therapist that I had, I remember I went into his office and I was just like, I've been having these thoughts. Can we talk about it? Type of thing. And he was just like, have you had thoughts of hurting yourself? And I was like, honestly, this is what's been going on. Yes, I have wanted to do these things, but I haven't done them. And then he's just like, so what you're telling me is you've thought of suicide before. And I was like, yes, I have thought about suicide before. Can we talk about it? He's like, just wait 1 second. And then I was just like, okay.
So they just didn't really even analyze it. Didn't do therapy at all.
No, I had an ambulance come to the office.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to put you on a 5250 or something. I think that's what it's called. It was basically they wanted to put me in the hospital for, I think it was like 52 hours or 48 hours or something like that.
Westcott Center?
I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah. No, but that's what I call is Westcott, because that's where people have thought suicides, you can check them in.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was so upset with him, and I was just like, I honestly just want to have like a conversation. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to let you know how I feel because you're my therapist, and you should be listening to how I feel. Yeah. And I told him, I'm not going to do these things. I just want to let you know this is how I feel. Let's talk. Yeah. So I got out of it by a pastor that I know, he helped me through a lot of my depression too.
Yeah.
He would just talk to me. He wasn't like very, I don't want to say pastory, but he understood, I'm going through a hard thing. And during high school, he even helped me too, because I worked for him at school, and he would just talk to me as a person and say, you know what, this is okay. You're okay for having these thoughts, and you're okay for not being happy. You're okay. And that helped me a lot, because
it's a big step.
Yeah.
It's a recognition that it's like, this is normal.
Yeah.
You're not the only ones dealing with this. You're not alone. People are here to help.
Yeah, because honestly, I thought I was the only person that was, whole world felt like it was crumbling around me.
For most people, that's exactly how it comes across. Felt like me, I didn't really like feel like, oh, I'm the only one dealing with this. It was just more like, I need to handle this on my own.
Yeah.
When it's obviously not the best thing. Communication's key.
Definitely.
Because then the more you talk about it, the more you understand that you can overcome it.
Yeah.
Just like anxiety, all that stuff. The more you talk about it, the more you understand it, the more like, it's like, oh, it happens when I do this. Oh, and then you start recognizing, like, oh, these are the triggers. Or you start learning.
Yeah, so I went through prescriptions, and I went through therapist, and then after a while I was just like, well, this isn't...
It's just not working.
It's not working. It's not getting better. So I decided to do my own thing, which was talk to that pastor for a while. And then that kind of turned into like, you need Jesus. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but at that time I just...
Kind of, that phrase kind of...
I don't want...
That's not the answer.
Yeah, and also...
Well, for you.
For me, that wasn't the answer. Because I was also going through I think it's like 10 stages of grief. It's no longer 9. It's 10.
Okay.
So I was still going through that, and I was just like, I don't need any of this.
Yeah.
So finally, I came to terms with, like, you know what? I have an imbalance. I am not damaged as a person because I have these thoughts. I'm not a bad person for having these thoughts. I'm just someone that needs to, talk through everything, and with time it'll get better. And I know when I was growing up, I heard that statement a lot, like, it gets better with time.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like, bullshit.
Right, but it does.
It does.
It's people don't realize how a big thing like depression, the process is just so long.
It's a long process.
You're not just gonna like walk up the next month and be like, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
You're gonna realize there's a transition area. Some people accelerate through that transition area, but it even takes months still. Yeah.
And even for me, like, I'm really happy. I'm a different person. I feel like I'm more confident in myself, and I don't feel like I have to apologize for decisions I make, because I take full responsibility for any decisions I make.
Yeah.
And I just feel a lot better now.
Good.
But a lot of people who are going through it,
gotta talk to somebody.
You have to talk to
someone.
Even
if you just talk to a brother, friend.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of bullshit that if you say, like, I've had these thoughts, that you're gonna be carried away on a stretcher.
Yeah. No, that's just it's just a risk. Because let's say you were to commit suicide.
Yeah. Well, I understand that part, but I feel like
maybe if the guy had talked a little bit more, he'd go to recognize, like, okay, well, I'm gonna write down 911 so I remind myself if it gets too far. But
yeah, because I mean, all honesty, I've been at that door. I've tried to walk through that door before.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and probably a couple of years ago, I've tried to commit suicide before, and I know there's a stigma on that, and I know a lot of people are like, you're not supposed to talk about that.
If you talk about it, then you get over it. Because if you're able to talk about it, you basically is like, yeah, I'm comfortable with what decisions I've made.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, it's like you don't feel like you have to apologize anymore.
I mean, that was my decision.
But
to do stuff like that.
Now you're here, now you're happier.
Yeah. And I think, if you have that mentality of you're alone and no one's going to help you, or if you don't reach out to try to get some help, like, you really should.
Yeah. Because
I know there was someone that asked me the other day, they're like, I'm depressed and this is going on in my life. And I was like, well, let's talk about it. Let's,
well, people who've been there understand it far more than those who haven't.
Yeah.
And I'm glad a lot of people haven't. But I'm just glad that you're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, it's been an hour and a half, I think.
Are you serious?
It's been that long, I think. And so I think we should end on the positive note.
Yeah.
Rosa's feeling better. I'm feeling better. And I'm so glad we finally got to have this. Like, I canceled like 3 times, guys.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad we finally got to talk about this.
I'm glad too, and can't wait to do this again.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right.
Next time we'll have a more structured thing.
Yeah, we kind of went all over the place, but
Yeah.
it still worked out great. And I'm going to stop streaming. Remember to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Rosa,
Bye.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.